AP will do it wrong, so we're here to do it right. Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert here with our Week 8 GE Top 25 poll. And we just witnessed a week, guys, where in Week 7, 8 top 25 teams went down. 4 of them falling to unranked opponents. There are a lot of shakeups in this week's top 25. 4 teams fell out of our rankings. 4 new teams are in. We saw lots of teams rise, lots of teams fall, and we have a new number 1. So let's go ahead and dive on into it. We're not even going to do the pleasantries. We got a lot to break down. And matter of fact, guys, we do have Michigan as our number 1 team in the entire country, taking over Georgia. And before all you people freak out in the comments and say, why, how, what, who, what, when, where, how, wow, you're crazy, listen. I know Michigan hasn't played anybody that impressive. Well, neither has Georgia. You want to point at Georgia and you want to go, yeah, they beat Auburn. Oh, yeah, the same Auburn team that just lost by 30 in Death Valley. But they beat Kentucky and they were ranked. Oh, yeah, the same Kentucky team that got destroyed by Missouri by 17 at home. That same team. Michigan has won all of their games by an average of 34.1 points per game. Michigan isn't struggling. They are dominating. That's what a good team does. They just beat Indiana 52-7. Again, they've won all their games by an average of 34.1 points per game. Georgia, meanwhile, barely survived Auburn on the road. Sure, they beat Kentucky. Congratulations. And then they went on the road to Vanderbilt and did not look like the number 1 team in the country, beating the Commodores just 37-20 as a 31-point favorite. And honestly, guys, when you look at it, it really probably should have been roughly a 30-25 type of game. Vanderbilt missed a field goal. They threw a pick right at the end of the first half, which led to a Georgia touchdown. And then they missed a 2-point conversion. Vanderbilt left about 5 points out there and then kind of gifted Georgia 7 right before halftime. Should have been around 30-25. Probably was a little bit closer than 37-20. That is not the number 1 team in the country in my eyes. Georgia is still a very good team. They're still a very solid squad. They're going to go to the playoff. The schedule's a cakewalk. But when I look at it, the schedules are pretty comparable. Neither team's played anybody that great. Who's taking care of business in a more dominating, convincing way? Michigan Wolverines are. Michigan's the new number 1. They will stay there until they lose or are proven otherwise. Georgia down to number 2. Florida State remains at number 3 following their win over Syracuse 41-3. No shock there. And then Washington comes in at number 4. We told you. We said Washington will be ranked in our top 5. Do you want better? How about our top 4? If the playoff were to happen today, I would have Washington making my college football playoff. They have one of the best wins in the entire country, beating number 8 Oregon 36-33, what I think could be the game of the year. It was an unbelievable showdown, the shootout in Seattle as we dubbed it, and it lived up to the hype, and Washington found a way to win. Blew an 11-point lead. They were looking like they were going to lose 4th and 3. They get the stop. 2 plays later, they go back down, take the lead. Michael Penix was absolutely phenomenal. The defense wasn't all that great. I'll give them that. Oregon outgaining Washington by 126 yards. But good teams find a way to win. And that offense, guys, still is, I think, maybe the best offense, most efficient offense in the entire country. Oregon, though, not far behind them at all. Washington getting that win. They rise 2 spots. They crack our top 4. The schedule, of course, gets a lot more difficult down the road. They still got to play USC in the Coliseum. They've still got Washington State at season's end. They've got a handful of very difficult games coming their way. But Washington, the Pac-12 favorite right now, and a top 4 team in the country. Penn State and Ohio State each dropping 1 spot, not because they looked bad, not because they lost, but because of Washington's victory. Penn State beating UMass 63-0, Ohio State beating Purdue 41-7. Both teams taking good care of business. Bidding, though, that those 2 teams will meet this coming Saturday. Without a doubt, our game of the week entering Week 8. We'll have analysis for that game coming out on Wednesday. Do not miss out on our prediction for Penn State at Ohio State, our number 5 and number 6 team in the entire country. Going to be an epic game. Going to have a lot of playoff implications, Big Ten title implications, massive game. So if you're upset where Penn State and Ohio State are ranked, you think they should be flip-flopped, we're going to get clarification on Saturday. So just stay with us. Oklahoma coming in at number 7, rising a spot just because of Oregon's loss. Oregon only drops 1, guys. Some people say they should drop more. Oregon should not drop more. They outgained Washington significantly. They won the turnover battle. Again, I've said it over and over and over again. If you look at the box score of that game, if you just happened to glance at the stats, you would have said, oh, Oregon won. They didn't. They lost by 3. They had a chance to tie the game, missed the field goal. So a team that outgained them, battled back down 11, had an opportunity to to go to overtime. Probably would have won it in overtime. They're not going to plummet in the rankings. They're not going to fall out the top 10. Oregon's still a dang good football team, and I have a sneaking suspicion that Washington and Oregon will meet again in the Pac-12 championship game, and that could be a college football playoff play-in game as well. So Oregon only dropping one, still remaining in the top 10. Texas in at number 9. They were on their bye week. North Carolina coming into our top 10 ahead of Alabama. Last week we had the Crimson Tide at number 10. We dropped them out down to number 11 because of their pitiful performance against Arkansas. They led 24-6, allowed the Razorbacks to crawl back into it, nearly had a chance to go on the way and pull off the upset. Alabama didn't look all that great. Allowed, 5 sacks in the game. Offensive line was still atrocious. Jalen Milroe connected on a couple of big passing plays that helped Alabama win the game and keep them alive in the game, but the Crimson Tide did not look all that dominant. They're still a very good team, no doubt about it. They're still the favorite to go on to win the SEC West, but I give the nod in the top 10 right now to North Carolina, who's on a roll, who's extremely efficient offensively and beat a ranked, shouldn't have been, but beat a ranked Miami team 41-31, a game that was not nearly as close as that final score indicated. So give credit to the Tar Heels here. They take the top 10 spot over Alabama. Again, flip-flop them if you want. Not going to be a big deal here in a few weeks, but that's what we got. Notre Dame in at number 12. They rise 6 spots in our rankings. The AP poll dropped them all the way down to 21st following their loss to Louisville. We thought that was a little too harsh. We dropped them down to 18th. They're back near the top 10, very close to it, after their 28-point victory over USC. Talk about a dominating game, forcing 5 turnovers against that USC offense, holding them to like 302 yards, an offense that typically averages about 550. It was an unbelievable game by the Fighting Irish and kind of exposed USC quite a bit. We had been talking about how bad their defense was, how we kind of thought they might be fraudulent because they barely beat Arizona 2 weeks ago. Notre Dame made sure to expose that. The Fighting Irish, again, getting that big-time win. They rise 6 spots in our rankings up to number 12, and it's a shame, again, that Notre Dame has 2 losses. Maybe this is the year, the first time ever we see a 2-loss team get into the college football playoff, but I highly doubt it because Notre Dame will not have the benefit of that conference championship. With as strong as the Pac-12 is, with as strong as the Big 12 is, with teams like Oklahoma and Texas, you got Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. The rest of the conference are so strong and so deep, I don't see a route for Notre Dame to get in despite this 28-point victory, although I do believe the Fighting Irish will win out the remainder of the year. So Notre Dame in at number 12. Oregon State up 3 following their 12-point victory over number 18 UCLA. Big-time win in Pac-12 play for the Beavers, who got torched on the ground. But once again, it was their defense that came through clutch. 3 turnovers forced against the Bruins, including a crucial pick 6 right before halftime. That was the big difference maker that gave Oregon State all the momentum, kind of demoralized UCLA. The Beavers guys are 6-1. We're talking about Washington and Oregon, teams like that. Don't sleep on Oregon State, who has kind of been forgotten, but is going to continue to creep up these rankings and continue to make noise in conference play. Keep in mind, they host Washington in the second to last week of the year. Watch out for that game. Ole Miss did not move following their bye week. They stay at 14. Duke up 2 spots, beat NC State 24-3 without Riley Leonard. Give credit to the Blue Devils. Getting a 21-point victory over a solid Wolfpack squad without their star quarterback. We do hope that Leonard will be back and ready to go this upcoming week as they take on Florida State. Another massive top 15, top 20 showdown in Tallahassee. Watch out for that game, guys. Hopefully Leonard's ready to play. That's going to be really the only chance that Duke has to maybe go on to Tallahassee and pull off that upset. So watch out there. But Duke, still a very impressive victory nonetheless. They're up at number 15. Utah still playing without Cam Rising. Takes down California 34-14 at home against Salt Lake City. Just a nearly impossible place to win if you're the road team. And California was on the, figured that out pretty quickly. 34-14 in favor of the Utes. They play USC this upcoming week. So a huge, huge game on deck this weekend. So watch out for that. LSU up 3 spots following their win over Auburn. Some of these teams are like, why are they rising 3 spots? Why are they rising 4? It's because of all the teams that lost ahead of them. Keep in mind, for us, Washington State was the 15th ranked team in the country. They fell out of our rankings following the 44-6 loss at home to Arizona. We saw USC and Louisville, both ranked in our top 15, get destroyed on Saturday. That means they're going to tank, fall very far in our rankings, meaning that a handful of teams are going to rise up maybe a few extra spots. LSU benefiting from that following their 30-point win over Auburn in Death Valley. Missouri, who LSU beat, not this last week, but the week before, is now back in the rankings for us. We had them in there, dropped them out. Now they're back in following a 17-point victory on the road against Kentucky. Kentucky shouldn't have been ranked to begin with. They weren't for us. We dropped the Wildcats out following their loss to Georgia. Missouri, once again, showing why they shouldn't have been ranked to begin with anyways, winning by 17, trailed 14-0 after the first quarter, and then went on a 38-7 run the rest of the way. The Tigers Don't sleep on them. They're 6-1. They're looking really good. Might be the second best team in the SEC East. We believe that to be the case. We've got them ranked one spot over Tennessee right now, who survived Texas A&M and Knoxville 20-13. Not the most impressive day from Joe Milton, but the ground game getting it done and the Tennessee defense stepping up when it needed to the most. Special teams as well, scoring on that big-time punt return. Tulane up 5 spots, up to number 20, again benefiting from the teams that lost ahead of them. The Green Wave getting a massive win over Memphis, huge for the American standings, huge for the New Year's Six bowl race, beating the Tigers by 10. They trailed by 11, 21-10, and then went on a 21-0 run to win 31-21. So a lot of credit to Willie Fritz and Michael Pratt for going on the road, hostile environment on Friday night, and getting the dub. Tulane into the top 20. They very well could get back into that New Year's Six bowl game, but there's a lot of teams challenging behind them. A lot of teams challenging behind. Tulane's the front runner right now. We talked about USC. USC fell 9 spots following their loss against Notre Dame, and very well could have fallen more. We might have been a little bit generous there. The Trojans was a non-conference loss. They're still very much in the hunt for a Pac-12 title. If they find a way to win out, I think they get into the college football playoff. But again, that's easier said than done. Keep in mind the Trojans just got killed by Notre Dame. They haven't even played Washington or Oregon. Oregon is in Eugene. So I don't think USC is going to survive unscathed the rest of the year, but crazier things have happened. Trojans in at 21. Crazy to see them outside the top 20, but that's where they need to be right now. Air Force is a team that can challenge Tulane for that New Year's Six bowl spot. Air Force winning a massive game in the Mountain West over Wyoming. Back and forth. Epic game between the Cowboys and the Falcons, but they ultimately scored in the final few minutes to beat the Cowboys 34-27. It was thrilling. Air Force, though, is undefeated. They've won every game with the exception of that Wyoming game by double digits. The ground game is averaging over 330 yards per game. It's an unbelievable offense. Unbelievable defense, too. Watch out. This is an Air Force team that I really think could run the rest of the way. Could end up being undefeated by season's end. They win the Mountain West. Very well could slip in as that New Year's Six bowl representative, which would be awesome to see Air Force in that position. Final 3 teams here. Iowa. You go, why Iowa? Why? Why Iowa? Well, you might not be a fan of how they play. You might be bored by them, but don't look now. The Hawkeyes are 6-1. Only loss was in the whiteout game at Penn State. Okay? They might not be the most exciting, but their defense is unbelievable. And they just went on the road to Wisconsin and beat them 15-6 as 10-point underdogs. Iowa was a 10-point underdog, emerged with a 9-point victory, and that was a game that very well could determine who wins the Big Ten West. So the Hawkeyes are legit, guys, and they deserve this top 25 ranking. Again, they might not be the flashiest team in the world, the flashiest top 25 team, but the way they're playing, the way they're winning, and a win is a win is a win, no matter how you get it, no matter how good, bad, ugly it is. Iowa's winning ugly, but they're winning. Give them to me at 23, the Big Ten West frontrunner as it stands right now with a massive tie-breaking win over Wisconsin. James Madison cranking in there. They're not going to be in contention for a New Year's Six bowl game, unfortunately. It's a sin. It's wrong by the NCAA, but so be it. But they beat Georgia Southern 41-13, a massive game in the Sun Belt standings. Georgia Southern was right behind them. The Eagles were 4-1, and James Madison beat them like they were an NAIA school. It was unbelievable. So James Madison playing some really good ball in their second year at the FBS level. And then Louisville rounding out our top 25, losing to Pittsburgh 38-21. Some say they should have fallen out of the rankings. I had them at 13th. I disagree, dropping them 12 spot. They're clinging on to that spot. That Notre Dame win, doing a lot for the Cardinals. You know, Notre Dame beats USC by 28. Louisville beat Notre Dame by 13. So that's holding a lot of weight here and keeping them in. Louisville just took their first loss to Pittsburgh. They outgained the Panthers 444 yards to 288. So they really dominated that game when it came to yardage. It was the turnovers that killed Louisville, just like it was the turnovers for Notre Dame that killed them against the Cardinals, including that pick 6 for Louisville as well. They lost by 17. 7 of those points came off of a pick 6. They were leading at halftime, just kind of got destroyed in the second half. So I'm not going to boot them out of the top 25 entirely, but they're holding on for dear life right now. 6-1. Probably not going to be an ACC title contender. Their playoff hopes, the slim ones they had, are done, but going to keep in the top 25 as of now. I believe they enter their bye week in week 8, so we'll see how long they stick around. But there you go, guys, our updated GE top 25. A lot of changes, massive changes. I mean, a new number 1 team in the country. That's no joke. Massive change in the top 10. Washington now a top 4 team. Oregon still sticking around at number 8. We're going to have a top 10 showdown for the second week in a row with Penn State and Ohio State this Saturday. So when you come back next Monday, our rankings will look drastically different. A lot more top 25 matchups, a lot more clarity being played out in the conference races, but also the playoff race as well. This is what college football is all about. This is what happens when you get later into the season. This is where the fun begins. This is where the fun is happening. And again, This is truly, guys, what it's all about. This is why we love the game of college football. So leave your rankings down in the comments below. Let's get ready for another massive weekend of college football. Week 8 predictions coming your way tomorrow. Game-by-game predictions for these top 25 matchups starting on Wednesday, starting with that Penn State-Ohio State game. Do not miss out on that. But until we see you again, guys, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. You do not want to miss out on those guaranteed winnings. Again, 43-18 run over the last 6 weeks. Can't beat it. Go sign up for those picks today. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.